can't drink creamy liquors. Makes me want to vomit.
Whiskey has a vomity tone to it.
Especially whiskey, some vomit undertones.
Well, plus like bourbon whiskey's like aged whiskey. It's
in vomit. No,
it's a vomit barrel that they.
All right,
Hi, BookTube. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Rebecca.
And today, we're talking about what Rebecca wants to read in 2020. Not what I want to read.
No, she didn't.
Because I don't want to read.
I want to read 0 books.
I want to read, like, nothing. Read all the books for me and just give me a summary. Write this paper for me.
Last year I did a 10 books I want to read in 2019, and it went really well. I didn't read all of them, but I'll talk about that in a separate video at the end of the year. Who knows? Maybe I'll read both of them in the next couple weeks. Probably not. But I wanted to pick another 10 books from my shelves that I want to get through in 2020. Because I don't know, it was fun to have that put aside, and I would pick a book every once in a while from it, and I'm hoping Sarah might get inspired and be like, oh, I would like to read that next year too, but...
I don't have specifics. I have, like, a few somewhere. I have, like, some notes about the types of things I want to make a note of.
Okay.
But I'll go as you go.
Sure.
I just love that necklace.
It's so cute. I got
really
it at
cute.
a fair in Connecticut. The,
Brooklyn Fair? The Putnam Fair?
No.
The Renaissance Fair? The craft
What's
fair?
the one, where is that place? God, I'm drunk. Where the big party in like the 70s. Woodstock!
The
It was
Woodstock,
the Woodstock
Connecticut.
Fair! Not the same Woodstock Fair.
No, not Woodstock, Connecticut. It's Woodstock, Connecticut, not Woodstock, New York.
Yeah, different Woodstock, but it's, you know, how you always think of it. But anyway,
we have
Woodstock
one of those,
Fair.
like Salem, but not that Salem.
Brooklyn, but not that Brooklyn.
Not that Brooklyn.
Connecticut.
We have a lot of those. But,
yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll talk about the books. The first few are sequels that I'd like to finally get to, because I've been putting them off for one reason or
I
another.
like that. I like that.
Yeah, I like to try to get to. The first book.
Sorry, I saw it coming and I didn't know what to say. There was like, I can't tell her to get that in time. It's just gonna happen.
So instead you went, woo!
Well, it was a surprise. And I was like, well, there's nothing to do but watch the world burn at this point, so.
Or the books topple. It's fine.
Time for the tomes to topple.
Time for the toppling of the tomes.
Literally.
The first book. The first book I want to read is Abhorsen by Garth Nix. This is the third book in the Sabriel series. I don't know. The first book's Sabriel. The second one was Lyriel. This one's Abhorsen.
When did these come out? Like
a while.
70s?
No, not that long ago. This one's from 2003.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
I read Sabriel for the first time when I was still in high school. So, and then I read Lyriel just this year in 2019. I did it in a 24-hour readathon, so I did it in a day, which was like bananas because it was much longer than this one. That was really fun. Maybe I'll do that with this one. I don't know. I know he continued the series much later, but it doesn't have as good reviews. As far as I'm concerned, it's a trilogy mostly, so it'd be great to finish the series that I began when I was 15 years old.
I like that.
Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yeah. There's some stuff I started when I was younger. I used to read, like, I had a bunch of Harlan Ellison books that I read a little bit of it, and I haven't read Harlan Ellison in like a decade. But his stuff was so fun.
Maybe that could be a 2020 goal, to read one.
No. Part of me is like, it would be really fun, but part of me is like, I'm not gonna like it as an adult. Next is Dreams of Joy by Lisa C. This is a sequel to Shanghai Girls, which I did like, but it was... I love these covers.
Aren't they nice? Shanghai Girls is... it's too far. It's so difficult to get to. It was really rough. It was a very rough read. It was about two Chinese sisters in like the 20s, and they get kind of like sold as wives, and it's a lot. So it was good, but difficult. So I need to either try reading this and finish it, or just decide I'm not going to read it because I'm putting it off for so long.
So it's an ultimatum.
Kind of. It's like very small font.
Oh my
gosh.
It looks like that would drive me crazy.
Right? It looks like not that long of a book, but it's
So I was, sometimes I do speed reading exercises to help with, like, because I'm a very slow reader and I have ADHD, it's a hard combo. So I do these speed reading exercises, and the whole thing is about starting with thin columns of text and working your way out. That's a big part of it, and being able to kind of absorb lines as a whole. So when I see text like that, I'm like, that's hard to read because you can't absorb a line when it's that long. Not in one glance.
No, it's hard. The next one is The Obelisk by N.K. Jemisin.
I haven't read it yet.
I love this fifth season, and I'd love to read the sequel. And maybe the third one, I was thinking about putting 2 and 3 on this, but I actually don't own number 3.
Maybe I should make a point of that.
Yeah.
Well, this will bring me to one of the points of the very few points or goals I've made for 2020 is I want to read more recommendations.
Oh,
because,
okay.
I'm very, like, I'm a slow reader, I don't read enough, I'm only going to read if I know it's good, and that's it. I'm just going to read on how I want to spend my time. And even within that, I say, like, okay, I need to expand in this way, and I do stretch myself within those means, but I'm very guarded where if someone recommends something, I'm like, oh, I'm very like, oh, don't tell me.
You don't know what I like.
It's like, that's, you're wasting your time. This is a closed book as far as books go. And I think that's a hindrance. But my goal is to, if someone says to read something, just fucking try it. Slight wine break.
Sure. I'm peeing. Next is The Heart Forger by Chupeco. This is a sequel to The Bone Witch. I love Chupeco, obviously. I talked about her a lot because she wrote The Girl from the Well, which I adored. I loved The Bone Witch, and I don't know why I haven't gotten to it. I think because it's so big. Next is Because of You.
Because of me?
Yeah, I finally want to read the new I want to read the new Jim Crow. Because I bought this. I've been wanting to buy it for a long time. I bought it last year, and I still haven't gotten to it. I know it's going to be difficult, but important.
So I read this, and then this was back in LA when I was in community college, and I read it, and then the following year I was taking like a general education English class, and the main book that we had to do all of our papers and discussions about was the new Jim Crow. So I had already read it, but then I got to discuss with a bunch of young LA college students what it meant, and it was so interesting and fascinating. It was one of the few times that I've been really motivated to be involved in like classroom discussion and like been like, let's talk about this. Listen to my opinion. I haven't read it in a number of years. I would say even by the time I read it, which was a few years after it came out, you can see that things need to move on even from what's in this book. But I think you will know. And there's already...
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of stats in it that obviously are going to be...
Dated.
10 years out of date now.
But that's okay. It's so important to look at.
But this is such a huge thing. And when I read it, it was really eye-opening about the structure of things and how that affects other stuff. And because it became a staple in college classes, you can find tons of, like, follow-ups and stuff.
That's great, yeah.
Excuse you.
That's my chair! Next one's also nonfiction. It's the only other nonfiction I have on here, and it's just because I've had it for a really long time, and it's Lab Girl by Jahren.
I think I've heard of this book, but tell me what it is.
Yes. Let me see. It's about a geobiologist who has spent her life studying trees, flowers, seeds, and soil. And it's just, it's almost memoir-ish, I think, about her life and being a scientist and whatnot.
What draws you to this book?
I don't remember why I got it, to be honest, but I know I hauled it one of my first book hauls by myself. This book was in there, because I bought it at Barnes & Noble. And I think I wanted to read more nonfiction. I like memoir types, and like a female scientist was appealing to me. Next up, I haven't had that long, but I just love the author so much, and it's her debut, and I can't believe I haven't read it. And it's Collateral Damage by Taylor Simonds. Taylor's phenomenal. I follow her on Twitter, and she's just like a pure delight. And I was so excited to buy this book when it came out, because I was following, like, you know, the progress of the release and everything. I don't follow new releases that often, so I was very excited. And it is about, like, sort of the extras in the superhero movies, like the ones who don't have powers and get caught up in, like, these supervillain fights, and they're the collateral damage.
Interesting.
So I really, really want to get to this because I just was so excited to read it, and I have to take it off my shelf and put it in a separate pile so I don't forget about it, because I want to read it so bad. It sounds so fun. And she's so fun. I have 3 more books.
Moving on.
Moving. I have 3 more books. They're all really here just because they've been on my TBR for a really fucking long time. The first one's been on my TBR since before I joined BookTube. I think it was when I first started.
Spoilers before you. Let's chill.
I think it was when I first started watching BookTube, and a couple of people were talking about this, and it sounded interesting. Could not tell you what this book is about now, but I had it on like my wish list for years, and no one bought it for me, and then I found it at a used bookstore. And it's Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. I've never read A.S. King.
I read the thing.
Yeah, go
for
it.
About it.
But I've been interested in A.S. King. Obviously, like Kayla from Books and Lala loves A.S. King and talks about their work all the time. So it often sounds very interesting and like something that I would like, but I really just picked this up because I saw it and I knew about it and knew that I wanted it at some point. Who knows how I'll feel about it now, but
sounds very interesting.
It sounds interesting? Great. I
was going to say, don't read it.
No, I'm not gonna.
I was interested by the fact that you weren't reading it, which is why I just wanted to peek at it.
15, 16, Rebecca really wanted to read this one, so let's do her a solid.
It doesn't sound like something I would normally pick up, but I'm interested by the concept.
Next book is the first in a trilogy that everyone has already read, and I own the entire trilogy because I'll be like, oh, I have that book, let me grab the sequel, because I see it at a thrift store for like $2. Mm-hmm. And the first one is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. By good old Patrick. I have only read, I think, When a Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which I know is very different from this.
Hey, we read the whale one.
Oh, we did! Book Net Fest 2018.
And The Ocean Was Our Sky.
And The Ocean Was Our Sky.
I need to get the new copy.
Me
because the illustrations look so good.
Yeah, we were driving up because we got an ARC. It was me, Sarah, and Jocelyn got an ARC, and while driving up from Orlando, Sarah read it out loud to us.
I read them a story during the drive. And then
it was great. I do know a massive spoiler for this, and I'm so glad that I do, because now I won't be heartbroken. I'm finding I kind of like being spoiled sometimes for certain things now. I know that's very not you. I used to know what this was about more, but I don't really care anymore. I just want to start it and then see if I want to read the trilogy, because for some reason I own the whole fucking trilogy, and it's just been sitting on my shelf for years.
And you need to know.
I just gotta know. I just gotta read it.
I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me.
The last one is very old, and I bought this edition with you a long time ago. It's Anne of Green Gables. I've never in my life read Anne of Green Gables.
People seem to love it. It's like people who read it as like a little kid or like as a young woman.
This is all of them, I believe, in one.
I don't like when they do that. But
I don't either, but it is like a kid's, so it's shorter.
Yeah.
This is different.
How's the font?
Oh, it's pretty.
Oh,
it's sizable. It's not bad. This is not like getting Jane Austen books all in one volume. That I hate.
Well, that's like 6 books. That's not like 3.
And I kind of want to watch this show, but I'd like to read it first.
Yeah.
So
it didn't look like the sort of thing that interests me. But then again, when I was younger, I did love like Heidi and those like books like of the kind of thing that you read as a young girl.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the last book that I would like to read in 2020. Anne of Green Gables, which I guess is kind of a few books in one, but that's fine.
If you read one in 2020, that's pretty good.
I don't have like a punishment if I don't read them. It's just like,
oh yes, you do.
I do. I have to throw them into the fire.
I'll come back. I'll haunt you.
I will piss on it.
Any book you haven't read, like, you better get ready.
You're gonna get like one of those things.
The sheepy?
Yeah! It's a horrible name!
It is bad. I don't know. There's one called something else that's like a branded name, but
it was popular with hikers.
With the hikers.
This is popular with hikers. It's good for people with vaginas. You can kind of slip it in, and you don't need a penis, and you can just
pee wherever you want.
I find
all over something.
What also works is just popping a squat and pissing in the woods. Pee. I don't understand why you need a tube, but whatever.
If you were like in an alleyway,
I
or
guess
like you're like wearing
pop a
pants and like you're trying to be like subtle about it.
I have to pee so bad, and this is making me.
I'm so sorry.
I'm about to piss in the corner. I miss peeing outside. That shit's great.
Really?
Yeah, it was very freeing.
I've been camping a number of times. I've peed outside, and that's fine. I don't like pooping outside.
No, pooping outside is very difficult.
I don't like it. You're like, this isn't fun. I'm like trying to get this over with.
Here's my problem. So I prepared for the Appalachian Trail for a long time, and everyone was like, dig a hole, poop, and then you bury it. And every time I tried to dig, there were just roots everywhere. And I'm like, how are you digging?
Because you're trying to pee near a tree or something.
Not even always. You don't want to get off the trail, and off of the trail, there's trees and plants everywhere. Yeah. And I'm like about to shit my pants, and I'm trying to dig through these goddamn roots. This is horrendous.
That's the... Whatever. Good night, book 2.